Can you talk to us first and foremost about some of the key players that you spoke to and how they feel in this current scenario and environment?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I spoke with people including Tyson Clark, who is a general partner at Alphabet Inc.'s GV, formerly Google Ventures, at Ade Ajao, who is the co-founder of Base 10, and he actually has the distinction of being the Black person who has assembled the largest war chest ever for a Black VC at $250 million now with his second fund. Chantel Garvey at Reach Capital, and Sydney Sykes, who used to be in the industry and left, who actually said to me that when she was at NEA, a prominent firm here in the Valley, she'd introduce Black entrepreneurs who were very talented and had, great companies they were building to her white colleagues. And she'd feel the chemistry in the room sour. And she said that they always use the same excuse for why they wouldn't meet that person again for another meeting, which is that they just couldn't get excited. And the same was true with job candidates who came in. But there are many VCs right now in Silicon Valley who are thinking not just about their colleagues, but also their own role in the tech industry not being as inclusive or representative as it perhaps could or should be.
So, Nico, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. There are people out there in Silicon Valley that have pushed back on this idea that there's any sort of systemic discrimination out there, racial discrimination, and they point to the fact that you have a relatively decent percentage of Asian Americans and Asian immigrant entrepreneurs that have managed to sort of get funding and grow relatively profitable, or at least relatively good companies here. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, what's the argument there that blunts that criticism?
Right. This is absolutely an argument that some people say in Silicon Valley, including, by the way, venture capitalists, influential, powerful ones at mainstream firms who some of them themselves are Asian immigrants or Asian American. And there's one person I spoke to who asked not to be named because of the sensitivity of these private conversations, who approached his white and Asian partners at a firm and said, this firm has not been investing very much in, Black-started companies. This firm really should be investing earlier in the process to make up for some systemic issues reflective of American society. The fact that Black entrepreneurs may not have a friends and family round because they don't know people who are very moneyed. And they said, no, I am an Asian immigrant and I was able to make it. And this person had to explain that there are very different experiences between African Americans and people who immigrate to the U.S., either already quite educated or for their education, for college or graduate school, who then are in different economic circumstances.
Nico, what has really changed in the last 4 months, let's call it?
I think part of what has changed is a sense of awareness and a level of comfort in having these conversations, which is not to say that they're easy conversations to have, even for some of the most vocal VCs, but it is now okay to say, we have a problem at this firm. It is okay for, some people, including Tyson Clark at Google Ventures, to say to his colleagues that, he's not okay right now and he needs to take time off. And there are many VC firms who have said, okay, we acknowledge that there is a problem now, and we're going to set up these funds. In the case of Andreessen Horowitz and in the case of SoftBank, they said that they would have these standalone funds specifically for Black and brown people. The problem with that is, some Black VCs say this is akin to having a separate water fountain, and that what they're trying to do is mask systemic issues in their main funds that prevent them from being diverse in the first place.